Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. This is Hanging with Mangg. You're hanging with him. You're hanging with him right now. Yeah, so we're playing some Assassin's Creed Syndicate today, which is not too shabby, I'm happy to say. And, yeah, that's what we're doing. So, I looked at, like, my video page from my uploads, and, like, my last, like, 6 uploads or something like that are, like, 5 of 6 are all over an hour, or pretty damn close. Which is kind of crazy. Like, I put up, like, a 2.5 hour video this week. 2.5 hours. That's a big number. So I don't know if people are against that or anything. With streams, it's just really easy to go over an hour and just upload it and there. Well, I mean, there it is. It's done. So yeah, that'll probably continue. Last night, I finished Until Dawn. That was over an hour. But Until Dawn is now finished. Part 7 is the last one. So that's good. Because October is coming to a close. Amazingly. I don't know. It always just flies by. So, October is coming to a close. Until Dawn is finished. Soma, I think we're about an hour or 2 maybe away from being done. So that'll probably be one more stream for that. Stasis, I don't think there's a great deal left. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to try to power through that this week. So there'll probably be at least 2 Stasis videos. Fallout 3 kind of gets pushed to the back burner then. There will be at least 1 video this week. There might be another stream. I'm not sure. But that doesn't have to be over by October, so that'll bleed into November a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to finish Fallout 3 before Fallout 4 comes out. It's just not going to happen. So, not a big concern. What else? What else? We did Roll Manging last Sunday, which was the Call of Cthulhu one-shot. That Ren did for October/Halloween. We did it early because Ziggy wanted to participate, so. And then tonight I will be doing a Call of Cthulhu one-shot because it's the last Sunday of October, so how could I not? And I don't think I'll ever write my own Call of Cthulhu adventure or anything like that. I see no reason to. There are much better writers out there than me. So, the last one-shot I think I ran for Call of Cthulhu was from Caleb Stokes, Hebanon Games, it was Bryson Springs. And so, he's got a number of systemless scenarios set in the Great Depression, that he called the No Security set or something like that. There was a Kickstarter. But all the scenarios are available for pretty much free or pay what you want on DriveThruRPG. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep running through those. They're all good. They're all very well written. So the one I'm doing tonight is called Revelations. And it's actually I'm really interested in this one. This is going to be great. I don't want to say too much just in case, but it's basically like a small farming town in Illinois during the Great Depression, and it's a pretty religious town, which is funny because basically the end of days occurs. Like it's like the apocalypse out of the Bible. And like all the events that occur are based on Bible passages from the Bible, like interpreted into reality. And I don't want to spoil too much, but that's like part of the plot. And so the like Bible verses and the Bible and religion is really a big part of it. So yeah, it's gonna be apocalyptic. There's gonna be crazy shit going on. It's gonna be terrifying. It's gonna be awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure how many players we have for tonight. It might only just be 3 players, which is unfortunate. Maybe Charlie Chalk will make another appearance. I don't know. What else? Did the Mangg cast, of course, which was fine, but there might not be a Mangg cast next Saturday. I mentioned that. And yeah, I just before I did this, started recording this, I did my top 10 found footage horror movies. And so that was good, although it's a tad long, I think. I think top 10 lists are supposed to be like 12 minutes long or something like that. Mine's like 40 minutes long. But you know me. You know me. I just keep talking. I want people to get a good impression of what these movies are like and why they're good, why they're on the list. So I'm looking for more suggestions for more top 10 lists because there's going to be one a month. I mean, I have some ideas for what I can do. You know, top 10 action movies, top 10 adventure movies, top 10 fantasy movies, top 10 TV shows, top 10 video games, top 10 Super Nintendo video. Like, there's so many top 10 lists you can do. Yeah, so that's that. Board manging, I don't know what I'm gonna do for board manging. I'm honestly not sure, because there's only one week left of October, and I'm hoping that I'll get something together. Like, it might just be me and my mom playing Agricola, like, as sad as that is. And then, yeah, so. It's gonna be a busy week for me. I can already tell. I got a bunch of stuff to do, which I kind of like, and I kind of wish that I just had my October where I did nothing but watch horror movies over and over, but it's alright. It's alright. Thames. Okay, so yeah, board gaming wasn't much. I played some Agricola with my mom, and I think she likes it, but she's starting to get most of it. We introduced kind of the full game with the occupations and minor improvements and all the options, and I mean, as far as Euro games go, yeah, it's pretty solid. I do like it a lot. I mean, it's definitely one of those games where it's just like an optimization engine, where it's like, look at your hand of cards, think about things, and come up with a plan and execute it, and don't fuck up. Like that's what it is. But yeah, I like it quite a bit. She gets most of it, except for some reason, sewing. She just does not get. And I can explain it to you right now, and you'll probably understand it without even playing the game. Okay, so to sow and to harvest in Agricola, what you need to do is first you need to get grain or vegetables. And you can get this in a few different ways, and you just put it on your little character board, in your farm board, and you have grain or vegetables. Then you need to have a field. So you have to plow a field, and there's an action you can take. It's just, hey, plow a field. And boom, you have a field ready to go on your farm. Then you need to sow your grain or your vegetables. So you take that action, you look at your farm, or you look at your fields, okay, and they have nothing on them, and you take, say, a grain. You put the grain on the field, and then you take 2 more grain from the supply. So this is not your grain, this is new grain, and you put it on top of your grain on the field. So you have 3 grain on your field. Then, during the harvest phase, which occurs a bunch of times, during the harvest phase, you take 1 grain off the top of each field, and you put it back in your supply. In effect, you have tripled your grain by sowing it. And then once, you know, your final grain is taken, then the field is empty again. You can sow it again. Vegetables is the exact same thing, but you only take 1 grain from the, or 1 vegetable from the supply. So you only double your vegetables. And that's it. That's how it works. And I've explained this to her, I'm pretty sure, at least 12 times. And she still does not get it. She still has no idea what to do. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like some mental block that happens where she just does not get it. But she does not get it. But, you know, I guess things, she'll get it eventually. Other than that, most of my board game time this week was just spent learning how to play various games that I had bought. So I learned how to play Mysterium, which looks pretty cool. Mission Red Planet, which I can see why that's a popular game. That's pretty damn cool. One Night Revolution. I don't know when I'll ever get to play that, but okay. What else? Between Two Cities, which is a very light game. I'm kind of surprised how light it is. But it's, I guess I can see it as a gateway game that really gets people talking, unlike Ticket to Ride or something. It's kind of designed for communication. And then Forbidden Stars, which took me a long time to learn. It's basically a slightly smaller version of Twilight Imperium. It's basically Twilight Imperium without trading and without politics. So yeah, it's a surprisingly complicated game. This woman stole shit? What are you doing? Here, I tackled this thief for you. Sorry, I'm laying the smackdown as we speak. Oh, come on. What a badass chick. Gina Carano. Yeah, so it took me quite a while to learn all those games. They were sitting on my table for a while. Man, I don't know when I'm going to be able to play Forbidden Stars. I mean, there's a higher chance of me playing that than Twilight, I guess, but not a great amount higher. It's just one of those things where it's like, if it hits the table, I just like, I'm not very forceful with my game picks, okay? Like, I pretty much let them pick the games. I don't really ever say, we're playing this, end of discussion. Although if I did that, we'd probably play a lot more different stuff. Heavier stuff. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah. Let's see. Trying to think of what I did this week. Okay, yeah. So Thursday was Applebee's, and my friend's cousin showed up with her friend. This is the girl who lawyered up last time I met her. Like, she's kind of the skank, but for some reason she knows a lot about the court system. And yeah, this girl and her friend show up to Applebee's, and she just like, she walks up to me and just stands there, and she's like, hi. And this girl reeks of the marijuana. Just instantly recognizable. There's no mistaking it. There's the marijuana. It's going on. And so they sit down, and I grab my phone, and I go to our kind of Facebook group chat, and I'm just like, I love that sudden whiff of weed. And right as I hit like send, my friend Bobby just says out loud, "You guys smell like drugs." It's like, yeah, I was trying to be a bit more subtle, but never mind. And he's like, I didn't even need to smell you. I didn't even need to smell it, because, you know, I know you're high when you just sit down at the table, say nothing, and just start giggling. Like, that's how he knew. Yeah, so apparently, pretty wild girl, man. Like, talking about all sorts of different drugs and smoking bowls and drunk driving with like an expired license and expired license plates, and just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. That sums up that chick. It's scary. It's scary. Yeah. So, other than that, it wasn't really an eventful night. Friday. Okay, so Friday, the new Zelda came out. To make a sudden transition, the new Zelda came out, and we decided that we were gonna get it and play together, the three of us. So we went over to my my friend's apartment. He bought the full version, and we decided we were just gonna do the downloaded version. And how it works for Triforce Heroes is, if you're just playing locally together, only one person needs to buy the game, strictly speaking. Jesus Christ. Only one person needs to buy the game. But they strongly incentivize that everyone buys the game. So it's not like the old days of playing like GoldenEye, where it's just, you all sit down there with one copy and everybody just plays together. Nah, it's a bit lamer than that, actually. And so Triforce Heroes is kind of a weird Zelda game. It's not strictly like any other Zelda game, although I haven't played Four Swords, so I don't know what that game was like. But basically, you get out together. It has to be 3 people, or yourself, I guess. And basically, there's no like overworld or anything like that. There's no real towns, although apparently if you own the game you can go to a town, but there's just more shops there. Like, it's not anything. And then you basically go to this menu and you pick the world that you want to go to, or like, yeah, sort of dungeon, I guess. You pick the dungeon you want to go to, and so it's like the volcano dungeon and the river dungeon and the ice dungeon. As you pick that, and then each dungeon has 4 sections. So like the water or the ice one has like 3 different random ice stuff, and then it has the ice temple section, which is like the final one. And Jesus. So each each like area, I guess, has 16 levels. Sorry, it's just really cool. So you'll have 4 sections, and then each section has 4 levels to it. So you might have Ice Temple 1, Ice Temple 2, Ice Temple 3, and Ice Temple 4. Each one has 4 levels. And each level somewhat follows the same pattern of having, like... Sorry, this is important. The 4th level in every section is a boss fight, generally, or something similar to it. So it kind of follows the same pattern through all of it. And in each level, or each section, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm making it sound really weird. It's kind of weird, but anyways. Each section, like say you go to the Ice Temple section, has its own gear. And this is kind of where the game is really strange and non-traditional Zelda. You always have your sword. No matter what, you have your sword. But you don't have a shield. So no shield. For some reason, they just didn't want to put in a shield. You always have, like, dash boots. So you can always dash no matter what. And you can always use your sword no matter what. But your item is different every time. And so they have, like, the traditional kind of Zelda gear. So they have the bow, they have, like, the hook shot, they have the boomerang. But you don't really get to choose, you don't ever get to choose what happens in the level. It's just, these are the 3 items that are going to appear in this level. And you might get to choose amongst the 3 which one you want and which one your 2 buddies want. But, yeah, so you'll pick up the item, and then you'll have your sword, you get your dash boots, and then you get your item. The only real thing you get to pick is what clothes you get to wear. There are all sorts of different outfits, and each outfit has kind of its own perk. So, like, the one that's in the demo... The first one you can really make is the Kokiri clothes. And those let you, instead of just shooting 1 arrow, when you use the bow, it shoots out 3 arrows in kind of a split fashion. So the Kokiri clothes are only useful if you have the bow. If the bow is not in the level or you don't get it, they're useless. It's just like wearing normal clothes.
I know you can hear me, woman.
So there are some, there's a lot of outfits that just kind of work for 1 item, like that just makes the bow better, just makes the boomerang better, just makes bombs better. There are some that factor into specific locations or like environments. Like there's one outfit that means you don't slip on ice at all, or there's one that lets you can take no damage from lava or something like that. So there are those. And then there are outfits that are just kind of useful always.
Come on.
Like there's one where you can fall down off ledges like 3 times without taking damage. That's always useful. Or ones that give your group more hearts. And your group shares hearts, by the way. So that's important. Or there's one that doubles the damage your sword does, which is, I think, the best one in the game. So there's a whole bunch of them. Here's the stitch.
There you are.
If you own the game, you can make every one of these outfits, and you can have your pick of the litter. If you are just downloading it off of somebody else's and playing with them, you are only allowed to make 2 outfits. And as far as I know, you can never exchange one outfit for a different one. Once you make those 2 outfits, you are done with the whole outfit thing forever. We did not realize that right away, and I was very foolish. Both me and my other friend who downloaded it got the Kokery clothes. So we figured, oh, that's, you know, it was like the first one you can make. It seemed good in the demo, so we'll get it. So we both got it. And then I made the bomb outfit, which, like, boosts the damage of bombs that you throw. And after that, boom, I'm done. That's it. No more outfits. I'm stuck with these 2 forever. And so my friend had only made the Kokery clothes at that point, so he's really debating now on which one is the second one he wants, because after that it's done. I really regret making the Kokery clothes, because 2 people having the Kokery clothes is pointless. And so yeah, I wish there was a way I could delete outfits to get a new one, but no. And I was looking around on the internet, and people were like, oh, you can use any outfits that the person that owns it has unlocked. No, that's not true. That is not true. We have not found that to be true. So it's really limiting, and they really incentivize you to buy the game, but I can't justify paying full price for it, because it doesn't really, like, it just makes things, like, more interesting or easier. You can still play through the entire game wearing just the basic clothes. So I can't justify spending 40 bucks on it. But anyways, it's interesting. It's a fun game, I guess. But it might only be fun because we're all sitting together playing and just kind of trash talking, and, you know, we can converse with each other, and it makes anything better. Like, I can't imagine playing through this game just playing with strangers online without talking to them. It just sounds like a pain in the ass and just not entertaining at all. And so the gameplay is pretty much just, it's Zelda. It's just Zelda dungeons. Over and over and over and over. It is just, if you really like Zelda dungeons, this is it. There is a lot of stuff in there. Like, we've played for maybe 3 hours? Maybe a little bit more than 3 hours, and I think we're like halfway through all the levels. But then after that, apparently there are different, like, modes for each level that, like, up the difficulty or something like that. So there's a bunch of content there, I guess. Especially for us, it was like 13 bucks a person to buy for 1 copy. I guess the really interesting part, okay, here's the interesting part of it, is at the start of the game, or for, like, when you first get a new item, the level will have, like everybody will get it. Like, they all have 3 copies of, like, the hammer, and so you'll go through the level and you'll all have the hammer. So everybody can kind of see how it works and use it and blah, blah, blah. But then later levels, you'll have 3 different items. So one person will have the boomerang, one person will have, like, the water rod, and one person will have, like, the hammer. And so you kind of have to use all these different items in conjunction with one another and see how they interact with one another. And you really have to use the teamwork aspect. And so it gets really interesting, especially, like, boss fights, working with all the different items and stuff. That's where it gets exciting. The levels where you all have the same item are usually not that interesting. And a bunch of the levels are kind of hit and miss with how cool they are and entertaining and stuff. But the ones that are the ones that are good, are pretty damn cool. So, I mean, I don't regret paying $13. I would probably pay $20 for it. But I'm not buying the full version, and really it's only good because I'm playing with other people, which just does not happen that often, where you're all sitting together in one room playing together. It just doesn't happen that often. So I guess really, it's like the best thing Nintendo's put out in years. I don't know. I guess I haven't played any Mario shit, but Zelda's more interesting to me. Yeah, so that's what we did on Friday. We played some Zelda. And then we went to Binary. And we played, I think, a total of like 2 rounds of Jungle Speed there. And the rest we kind of just were talking a bunch. It's like, it's just not... I really wish we had just a board game cafe. Like, a board game bar is just, there's too much going on, there's too many distractions and all that. It's just not conducive to the board game playing. So, yeah, it's not great. And there was, there was a bartender there who I guess caught my eye. And she was probably like, I don't know, 27 or 28. So she's older than me. And she wasn't skinny, I guess, but she wasn't, it wasn't like unacceptable or anything like that. And I guess if I had to describe her, I would say a slightly chubby Wisconsin version of Katy Perry, which is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. That's a good thing. It's a compliment. And so I was trying to get someone to be a wingman to help me out, but nobody wanted that job ever. I don't have good friends. So eventually I was like, all right. And so she was just like, she was on her break or she was off or whatever, and so she was just sitting there eating some potato chips, and I'm like, all right, this is approachable. I can work with this. And I think, well, first I had gone over there to kind of scope out the situation with my friend because he wanted to get a drink. And so she like took his order, got his stuff, and then she asked me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm just here for moral support. And she laughed at that. Even though that's not a good joke at all ever, so I don't know why. And so then we kind of stuck around because I maybe wanted food. And so then I was still standing there, and we got a menu, and then I ordered food from her, and she delivered it to me at my table. And so then I went back there by myself when she was just sitting there eating potato chips, and I got a refill, and she's like, well, I was like, so how long you been working here? Like, I had no idea what to open with. How would I know? How would I know? And so then we kind of were talking, and I was just making really lame small talk. You know, about Binary, about the building, the place itself, and like, oh, it's still in business, so it must be doing all right. And she said that she's just helping out here for a couple months, and she has been a server for 8 years. And I was like trying to do the math in my head, and it's like, how old is she? And then, so it was awkward. It was not great, but she was friendly. I mean, she looked me in the eye at least, so that's good. And she kept on running her hands through her hair, which is either like a signal to her friend to like get her away from this, or it's a good sign that like something about primates that like preen themselves when they're in front of a mate to make themselves look better, something like that. I don't know. I couldn't tell. She seemed friendly. But then her coworker showed up, who's like 40, and like I don't know, or who they're apparently friends. I don't know. She showed up and just sat down right next to her, and I'm like, yeah. And then I think I kind of just walked away, which I'll admit I regret. I probably should have said something. It was not a high point in my life. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. Don't you judge me. But it was just kind of weird. And so, yeah. So then later, I'm like, you know, we're about to leave because they wanted to go. And I was like, you know, maybe I'll say something. So I go back up there to pay the tab. And if she was just she was sitting there, she was sitting right next to me. And if she was sitting there alone, I would have said something. I would have said, like, you know, sorry, I wandered off. I'm an awkward bastard, blah, blah, blah. My name is blah, blah, blah. Nice meeting you, so on and so forth. I would have said something, but her coworker was still sitting there, and they were chatting. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, I don't know if it would have been, I don't know if it would have worked out. She was a smoker, and she was older than me. And she swore a bunch. I mean, I swear on occasion, but only when I think it's funny. Like, I don't swear just for the sake of things, usually. Like, I feel like if the words, I fucking love s'more Pop-Tarts come out of your mouth in casual conversation, like, you should tone it down a little bit. Like, she knew I was listening. So, she said I fucking love s'more Pop-Tarts, because they were talking about that. And it's like, I too like s'more Pop-Tarts. I am a fan. I can appreciate their goodness. But I don't think I would ever say to somebody, I fucking love s'more Pop-Tarts. It was a little much. But, I could probably rationalize pretty much anything for a potential mate and not liking them. Yeah, I don't. The smoking things, that's not great, though. But I digress. I made an attempt, as lame as it was, but really, I'm not good at small talk. It's just not what I do. I can make small talk with myself. I can do that fine. I do that every day of my life. And I can talk... Like, I can talk about subjects. I can talk whatever, name a subject. I will say something about it. I will make shit up if I have to. But if it's a subject, like some sort of topic, okay, I can get into it. But small talk about just nothing, about like employment and the weather and events and stuff, it's like, I don't know. And it's not that she was a girl. If it was a guy, I would have no idea what to... It would be awkward. That's not... Small talk is not my thing. So I should just approach them with a topic. I should be like, so... How do you feel about, like... nihilistic existentialism? What are your thoughts? Let's hear it. Go. That won't work. Maybe at, like, a Mensa event. Not at Binary, that's for sure. But anyways... Small talk, not my thing. Even with, like, my friends one-on-one, it just seems awkward to me. But that's me, so. But I tried, I guess. She'll be at the Halloween party, so maybe I can make a round 2. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. But there'll be a lot of people at the Halloween party. Or as they're calling it, the Samhain party. And apparently... a lot of people don't know what Samhain is. Which is why it was really surprising that Binary on their Facebook page called it Samhain instead of Halloween. I know why they did it, because they're hipsters. But it's Halloween. Like, what is going to happen next Saturday is going to have 0.01% chance to do with Samhain. Like, we're not going to be harvesting the crops and sacrificing animals to some sort of Gaulish god or something. Like, no. No, it's gonna be people in slutty costumes, and there's gonna be karaoke. If you're gonna tell me ancient Gaelic druids had karaoke, is that what you're gonna tell me? No. No. So, I don't really care that they call it Samhain. I was just kind of surprised, because everybody, I was like, you know, they're calling it Samhain. People are like, what the hell is that? Well, let me educate you. Maybe I should have talked about that. But, you know, I saw that they're calling it Samhain. And she would have been like, I fucking love Samhain. I don't know. I don't know. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So good. Yeah. So that was Friday night. Oh, so then, yeah, Friday night, after Binary, like, we were gonna go to Natty Oaks, which is the white supremacist capital of Wisconsin, if you remember. We were gonna go there to get some food, because they got really good food. White supremacists know how to cook. And, we walk in there. We walk into this place, and there's like 95% dudes, and there is death metal blaring in our ears. And we're just like, fuck this, let's go to Taco Bell. So we go to Taco Bell, and it's like midnight, maybe a little past, and they're closed. Which was really upsetting. So then we like went back to my buddy's apartment. Maybe we're gonna play more Zelda, but then he was like falling asleep already, and everybody else was just kind of falling asleep, and it was just like, this is not happening. I'm going home. I got shit to do. How do I make him kill her brother? How does that happen? So then Saturday, we went over and we played like a couple hours of Zelda. And so that's where we got in the majority of our playing. And that was alright. I mean, I can put up with a couple hours of Zelda. And then they were talking about going to a bar, and I was like, nah, that doesn't sound great. I'm going to get some Taco Bell and watch a horror movie. That's what I'm going to do. And that's exactly what I did. That is exactly what I did. I got some Taco Bell, and I watched a horror movie. And it was great. It was great. That's a good Saturday night. Shit. Yeah, so I don't know. It was an okay. Could be worse. Could be worse. And then I was like, I wanted to organize something tomorrow to play some board games, because, you know, that's what I want. I've spent like $5,000 on this shit. I like to spend time doing it. But now we have to invite like strangers to play with us, and he doesn't really want to do that. And like, if it's just the three of us, we'll just play Zelda instead, because it's a lot easier, because I don't have to explain anything, although I'd rather just play board games, but whatever, I guess. Look at this cop standing right here while these gang members are messing things up. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do for board banging. That's the problem. But we have a roll main tonight, and that's going to be great. Really looking forward to it. Fun. Jesus. Alright, that's a good point to stop. So, the final week of October. Finishing Stasis and Soma. Some more Fallout 3. Some other stuff going on. Blah, blah, blah. And since the next time I will talk to you in this capacity will be after Halloween, I wish to you all a very good Halloween or All Saints Day or Day of the Dead or Samhain. If you celebrate Samhain, please put it in the comments so I can know somebody out there legitimately celebrates Samhain. Because in my opinion, nobody celebrates it, even hipsters that think they do. Okay. So my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. And I'll see you fine folks next week.